our next instrument is meter bridge. So what is a meter bridge? So this is the simplest form of Wheatstone bridge. We have already discussed what is Wheatstone bridge. There are 4 resistors across basically on the sides of a square, and then diagonals. In one of the diagonals galvanometer is connected, in other diagonals the source is connected or the battery is connected. So this is the simplest form of Wheatstone bridge, and it is especially useful for comparing resistances more accurately. Now this is how it actually looks like. So basically this is the real life diagram. First let us understand from here. So this is one of the resistance, this is another resistance, this is another resistance, and this is another resistance, and this is our galvanometer. So basically this is my meter Wheatstone bridge, and out of that Wheatstone bridge, if you see, this wire resistance is basically the resistance of this wire is my R. The resistance of this length, resistance of this much longer wire is my X. This resistance is basically P, and this resistance is basically S. So this is a meter bridge, which is basically, and really it looks something like this. So there are basically bigger metallic plates. So these are metallic plates, and apart from that, in here something basically a known resistor is connected, and here in this gap we connect another resistor. This is unknown resistor. So here we connect the unknown resistance, and apart from that, here the middle one is connected through a galvanometer. So this is the galvanometer branch of the Wheatstone bridge, and now this is jockey, which we can put over on this wire where a scale is also attached, and this scale is 1 meter long. That's why it is known as a meter bridge. So this is the actual diagram of a meter bridge. This is the circuit diagram, and this is the principle on which it is acting. Now let us discuss the meter bridge properly one by one. So it consists 1 meter resistance wire. So the entire wire is 1 meter long, and if this is a particular length is L1, then rest of length is 100 minus L1, where L1 is in this, like L1 is the length in centimeter, so that total is like 100 centimeter. Now there are 2 gaps. In one of them is basically a known resistance is kept. In the second one, the unknown resistance S is kept. Okay, so S is basically unknown whose values needs to be determined, that is connected in the second gap. Now the galvanometer, which is basically from here, from the middle, the galvanometer is connected with the jockey. So this is called jockey. Okay, so the jockey, which is basically connected from the galvanometer, and then now jockey is moved along the wire, and once we get the galvanometer reading as 0. Okay, so this is a uniform long wire, so the cross section is uniform, and then on this wire basically we move the jockey so that we can get a null point. What is null point? So that is basically there are some steps, and what is the steps to get the unknown resistance? What are these steps? So to find this, we just move it over here, and then once the galvanometer is showing 0 reading, or we say galvanometer is showing no deflection, then we say our Wheatstone bridge is perfectly balanced. Once it is balanced, then we measure this length and this length. So these 2 lengths, if we measure one, then other is automatically known, since this wire is 1 meter long. And now I am just writing the condition for balanced Wheatstone bridge, which is this resistance divided by this resistance. So resistance R divided by this resistance. What is this resistance? Rho L1 by A. What is rho? Rho is the resistivity of this wire, and what is A? A is the area of cross section of this wire, is equal to S upon that. So S upon again rho L. What is length? L1, 100 minus L1. So 100 minus L1 upon A. A is again area of cross section of this wire, since this is uniform. So A is same for here. Rho is also same. So rho by A is basically sigma. Okay, so I'm just removing this factor, and then once this goes here and S goes here, we can get this formula. So this is just a balancing Wheatstone bridge condition. And if we simplify this, so sigma is what? We just already discussed rho upon A. So resistance per unit length. Rho upon A is the resistance per unit length, because R is rho L by A, and this L comes here, so resistance per unit length is rho by A, and this thing is sigma. So sigma is resistance per unit length. And now once we obtain, and what is L1? L1 is the length of the wire from one end where null point is obtained, and this point is called the null point, where we are basically putting our jockey. Now we can just cancel out sigma and we get this relationship, and we make the R subject. So R is basically unknown resistor, and S is like known. So unknown resistance is known resistor into L1 upon 100 minus L1. So here this is already known. L1 we have measured using the practical, and L1 is the balancing length. And now once we put the value, we can get the value of this unknown resistance R. This is how it works. So there is a note, and it says the meter bridge is most sensitive when the null point is obtained somewhere near the middle point. So if your null point is almost in the middle, then we'll say the galvanometer is like more sensitive, because there is a chance for more and more deflection. Now potentiometer. What is a potentiometer? Potentiometer is another instrument which basically allows to measurement of the potential difference without drawing current from the original circuit. Okay, so hence it acts as infinite resistance voltmeter. So it is also like a voltmeter. Once we connect a voltmeter, ideal voltmeter, it should not draw any amount of current from the original circuit, right? So potentiometer is also like similar device, and to be precise, it acts as perfect voltmeter, and it measures more accurately when compared to a voltmeter. This is the key diagram of a potentiometer. So potentiometer is just a wire, okay? Circuit we are going to discuss. So there is a long wire, and there is a meter scale attached to it. Here you can see a lot of wires over here. So these wires, how they are connected? Basically, we connect our original connection over here and over here. So current whether comes from here, so it flows in this wire, then through this connection it goes in the second wire. So our current is going in this zigzag pattern like this. This is how current is flowing, and at the end current goes out of it completely. So this is a potentiometer wire. Now how this potentiometer wire is part of the circuit? So this is the circuit diagram of potentiometer wire, where this is literally representing potentiometer wire. And what are these? These are basically these clamps. Okay, so they are like perfectly conductor, and this is only the length of the potentiometer. Now sometimes diagrams also look like this, and they show from A to B. Rather than zigzag pattern, they just write a longer wire like a meter bridge. So this wire is even bigger than 1 meter, and hence it is more useful, and they can simply show. So here, like rather than zigzag pattern, this is the length of potentiometer wire, and here the length of potentiometer is the wire is like 1 2 3 4 5 6 times this length, and here it is simply this length. So any of these, either this diagram or this diagram is the circuit diagram for potentiometer, and this is the wire which is the potentiometer wire. And apart from that, we are just connecting a battery, a resistance, variable resistance, and the key. So this is like the key circuit of the potentiometer. Apart from that, this is the external circuit from which the potentiometer is not going to draw any current. Now let us understand it more properly. So the resistance between A and B, from here to here, A and B, is a uniform wire, and this is a uniform resistive wire, and the length is basically L. L is the total length of potentiometer with a sliding contact at C. Contact C at a distance X from B. So basically from B at a distance C, we have a contact, and this contact can be moved. Now apart from that, these two ends we connect in across 2 points where we have to get the potential difference. So this potential difference has to be measured, and we make sure that this galvanometer is showing 0 reading whenever we are taking this reading, the X reading. But whenever we are taking this reading, we have to make sure that the current in the galvanometer is 0, so that no current is drawn from this circuit. Like this must be part of some other circuit, so no current has to be drawn from here, so that potentiometer will not be drawing any current. And now we slide it until the sliding contact is adjusted until the galvanometer G reads 0, and that is called the null point. Now, no deflection condition for the galvanometer ensures that there is no current through the branch containing galvanometer and the potential difference which has to be measured. The length X for no deflection is called the balancing length, and this point C is called the null point. Now, suppose VCB is the potential difference over here. This is the potential difference, same as that, because no current is being drawn, so they must be at the same potential, and we will say it is the potential which has to be measured. Now, if lambda is the resistance per unit length of wire AB, then we can write that VCB, this is nothing but total VAB, so total voltage divided by total length. This is also known as potential gradient. Okay, so potential gradient is total voltage drop across the entire length of the wire divided by the required length. Okay, so divided by the total length. This is the potential drop per unit length. If you multiply it with X, then this would give you the potential drop across this particular length, which is CB. So this is particularly important, that this is known as the potential gradient of the potentiometer. Now there is a question. This question is how to measure an unknown voltage using the potentiometer. So if this is the unknown voltage, what you have to do is you just take the potentiometer wire, then potentiometer wire, the one end has to be, the fixed end has to be connected across a particular potential difference device, and the other has to be connected through a galvanometer, through a jockey. We are going to find the balancing length, and then we will say that this V is nothing but phi into the length. Basically, L here is not total length. L is basically the balancing length, and phi is what? Potential gradient. And generally potential gradient remains same because it is not taking or drawing any amount of current. So total potential upon total length of the potentiometer. So this is how we can measure the unknown voltage using a potentiometer. Now let us discuss the applications of potentiometer. So there are lot of applications. We can find EMF of a cell and compare the EMF of two different cells. The second is to find the current if the resistance is known. So if we know the resistance, then we can get the current in that particular resistance because we can measure the potential difference using a potentiometer. Next is to find the internal resistance of a cell. Generally, each and every cell is basically having some internal resistance that can be precisely measured using a potentiometer. Next is ammeter and voltmeter can be graduated by potentiometer. Basically, ammeter and voltmeter also needs to be calibrated. So we can use potentiometer because potentiometer is a better device than voltmeter. So ammeter and voltmeter can be graduated using a potentiometer. Ammeter and voltmeter can also be calibrated by the potentiometer wire. Now let us discuss these one by one. First is to compare the EMF of two unknown cells or battery. So for this, what we are going to do is we are going to make this connection. So this is a connection, and here we have a battery internal resistance. So this is this device, or this is my potentiometer. So this is my potentiometer, and this is the original circuit of the potentiometer. And what I am doing is, here I have a battery which is having E1 EMF and which I don't know. Okay, so EMF is unknown. So there are two batteries, E2 and R2. So I just want to compare these two batteries. So this battery is having internal resistance R1 and this battery is having internal resistance R2. I just want to get the value of them. Now what is done is, first this battery is connected. So this wire is fixed. So this is, and I will just do this connection. So this battery is connected across the potentiometer and we measured the potential difference across that. So I will just get a balancing length. Let the balancing length be L1, and I can write that E1, the potential difference across this entire thing. Since once the length is L1, we will say that galvanometer is showing me 0 reading. No current is passing. If no current is passing, then the terminal voltage E minus IR is same as the EMF, and the entire potential difference across this branch is phi into L1. What is phi? Phi is potential gradient, potential drop per unit length of the potentiometer wire. So we get this phi into L1. So this is phi. We have used X over here. And now next, similarly, if we connect this combination, and this is already connected. So if you see the original circuit, this connection has been done, which is basically E2 and R2 is now connected. So we will say that again, let's say balancing length, new balancing length is L2 in this case. And now we will say that the E2 must be is equal to the phi into L2. So potential drop into L2. So this is the equation which we get. Now we have two equations, and once we solve these two equations simultaneously, then we can just divide them, and this potential drop per unit length will simply be cancelled, and we get E1 by E2 is equal to L1 by L2. So here, if suppose E2 is known, like one of these cell is known, then we can get the EMF of the other cell. If we don't know any EMF of none of them, then also we can say that this is their ratio. So we can compare two of the EMF of two cells using this potentiometer. Again, I am repeating the process. We connected the point 1 and 2, got the balancing length N1. We connected point 2 and 3, then we removed that connection. We connected point 2 and 3 for cell E2, which is having internal resistance R2, and we got the new balancing length L2, and we just can apply the formula E1 by E2 is equal to L1 by L2. Concept is basically the potential gradient in both the cases is same. So these two equations, this is cancelled because in none of the cases the potentiometer is drawing any current from the outer circuit. And also one more thing, the internal resistance of both these cells, they really do not matter, right? Because they are not even considered, because we are actually calculating terminal voltage, which is E minus IR. But since we make sure that I is 0, the current passing through this galvanometer, so this does not come, this R does not come in the picture at all. Now next is basically to find the current if resistance is known. So let us say we know one of the resistance. Let us say we know R1. How can we get what is the current which is flowing through this resistance R1? So what we are going to do is we will just connect a potentiometer. So one connection will be done over here and the other connection will be done over here. So this is we are just doing the connection of potentiometer across this. So what can we measure using the potentiometer? We can measure the value of potential difference across the R1. So if we know that, we can simply apply, and we can simply let us say we'll move this galvanometer from on this potentiometer wire. Let's say the balancing length is L1. If balancing length is L1, then we can write this, that potential difference between this point A and this point C is nothing but potential gradient into length L1, that is the balancing length. But it is also, we can also write that potential difference across point A and C should be same as potential difference between these 2 points, which is nothing but the I into R1, right? So I into R1, and I just equated these two potential, and now I will say that we are finding current. So I'll just make I as the subject. So I is nothing but XL1 by R1. So if we know in this case, if we know what is this? This is the potential drop or potential gradient of the potentiometer. So total EMF divided by total length. Right? Next, L1 is the balancing length. If we know R1, we can get the amount of current passing through this, particular resistance. Now next is, we can also find the value of current if only R2 is known. If instead of R1, R2 is known, what will you do? You will do these two connections over here like this. So simply you can make the connection over here rather than that, and the same formula can be applied. It just L2 is the balancing length for R2, and then here it will be R2. Now potentiometer is ideal voltmeter, and reason is it does not draw any current from the original circuit or the external circuit. Now next application is to find the internal resistance of a cell. So let us say that we have a cell EMF of which is basically E and internal resistance is R, and both of them are unknown. So what we will do is, we will do two arrangement. In first arrangement, basically we will simply put it across the potential, like potentiometer. So once we put it across a potentiometer and galvanometer, like once we get the balancing length L1, we can write that this EMF is simply X, or that is potential gradient into L1, and that is going to be, why R is not coming, because there is no current in this branch, so it is simply E is equal to phi into L or X into L. Now for the second arrangement, once we do that and get the balancing length L1, then what we are going to do, we are going to connect a known resistance, okay, known resistance R across that cell in parallel, or we will make this circuit and then we will connect it like this. Now what will happen? So since this reading is 0, see, no current is coming from here, so whatever is the amount of current going from here, same amount of current is also going from here, and that is coming from here, and that is going over here. So no current will be flowing in this branch also. So we'll say our potentiometer is not taking any amount of current from the external circuit. So this external circuit, there will be some current, and how much that current will be flowing? So we can say that current in this circuit is nothing but E total EMF divided by total resistance, which is known resistance, plus internal resistance, which is what we want to get. So we can say that first we can get the, from second arrangement we can say that what is the potential difference. So this, if I is the amount of current, so I into R is the potential difference which is connected across this. So I into R is nothing but X into L2, right? From here I am making I the subject. Now next thing is, we can also say that if I is the amount of current flowing in this circuit, then potential difference between these 2 points is basically E minus IR. So E minus IR, so I am just writing E dash minus I into R dash, that is the terminal voltage of this cell, that is also equals to X times L2, right? So from here only, or we just got the value of current is, that is E dash by external plus internal resistance of the cell, and now I am just equating it, right? So once we equate it, then what we get? We equated this current and this current because both of them are current over here, which should be same, and we equated it, and now we are just going to solve it. This equation and this equation, we can simply divide them. So E dash will cancel out, X will cancel out, and eventually we will be left with R dash, capital R, and L1 and L2. What is again L1 and L2? L1 is the balancing length when only cell was connected across the potentiometer, and L2 is the balancing length when cell was connected across the potentiometer when there was a known resistance also connected across it. Once we solve these two, then we divided this, like we solved this equation and this equation simultaneously, and then we can get this formula that internal resistance of this particular cell is known resistance, and L1 minus L2 over L2. What is L1? L1 is the balancing length when only cell was connected. L2 is the balancing length when both the cell and the known resistance were connected across the potentiometer. Now let us discuss this question, and this question says that battery of EMF 1.4 volt and internal resistance 2 ohm is connected across a resistor which is 100 ohm and through an ammeter. So there is an ammeter which measures the current, amount of current passing through it. The resistance of the ammeter is also given because this is not ideal. So this is 4/3 ohm, and a voltmeter has also been connected to find the potential difference across the resistor, across that 100 ohm resistance. And now they are asking draw the circuit diagram. So this is how circuit diagram looks like. This is a battery, 1.4 volt and 2 ohm internal resistance. It is connected through this external resistor 100 ohm through this ammeter, and now they are saying the voltmeter is also connected. So this is how circuit diagram looks like. Now next question they are asking is, the ammeter reads 0. So this reading of this ammeter is basically the amount of current I which is flowing in the circuit, right? So the I is basically 0.02 ohm, so ampere. So this is the reading of the ammeter, and now they are saying what is the resistance of the voltmeter. So let us say the resistance of the voltmeter is R. So which is, I need to get the resistance of this voltmeter which is R. What I am going to do is, I am applying V is equal to IR for entire circuit. So So what is the total voltage? Total voltage is 1.4 volt. Total current is 0.02. And what is the total resistance? Total resistance is this 2 plus this 4/3 in series plus this entire thing. Let us say this entire thing makes X resistance. So 2 plus 4/3 plus X in series. So 2 plus 4/3 plus X. Let us just solve it for X and we get 2 plus 4/3 plus X is equal to 70. So this is 68 and further minus. So X is 68 minus 4/3. Now that gives us 4/3 is roughly 1.33 and 68 minus 1.33 gives me 66.666. 66.666. Let's keep that in fraction. So we got X. X is the combined resistance of these two. So I'm going to say 1 by R total, and R total is 66.66 is nothing but 1 by 100 plus 1 by R. Once we solve this equation, we are going to get the value of this resistance, which is resistance of this voltmeter. Now next question says the voltmeter reads 1.1 volt. What is the error in the reading? So see, this voltmeter is reading 1.1 volt. So as of now, the potential difference over here is 1.1 volt. But what if this voltmeter wasn't there? Because like this voltmeter is also having some resistance which is limited. So we are just saying this is producing some error. And let us say this ammeter is also not ideal, so it's not there. So actual reading, the potential difference across this 100 ohm must be how much? So let us find the current again. So current is the actual current, the true current should be the total EMF divided by the total resistance, which is simply 2 ohm plus 100. So you'll get 102. And this is the actual true current. What is the potential difference across this? So potential difference across 100 ohm is current into resistance. So basically 1.4 upon 102 into this is I into R, which is 100 ohm. And this is volt. So this is the true potential difference which ideally should be there. But our voltmeter is measuring what? 1.1 volt. So get the difference between 1.1 and this value. And that is going to be the error which voltmeter is doing.